like. So this is Susano. He's at 37, 3800. Slus and Rialto. He's playing McCree, Hanzo, Widow. Ugh. What a scrub. Let's see what he can do. Okay. Okay, you gotta get out of there now. Alright, good. Oh, nope, you're going back in. You're going for a kill. Okay, good. Alright, you got... I would say you got lucky because if a DPS or some other tanks came around the corner, you would have died. Oh! And you died. And now... So here's the bad thing about what just happened. Your team died, and essentially they weren't staggered, but let's just say they were staggered. Meaning you're waiting on them to respawn. And you died as you almost regrouped. In fact, it was probably the worst point you could have died. Because essentially that first kill the enemy got and created a stagger, they just kept it going. And so now you're probably at a 1 minute stagger from start to finish. So most likely you're going to die because right now your team is a numbers disadvantage. Remember, when too many people die, just get the fuck out. Yeah. Okay, okay. You may want to move up. Okay, good. Your team's low in health, and that's why I want you to move up. And you got shot. Sometimes I like to move up. I mean, it's just because you're defending the cart. You're defending that point. But I think you did a pretty damn good job there. The nice part, if you can close up... Okay, this is what I'm saying. Like, hug the wall, and you can use this for cover. Remember, McCree is... Also, watch for the ninja cap. Alright. Okay. You're going pretty deep here. Ooh, good shots. I was gonna say, remember McCree's burst damage and not consistent damage like Soldier. So essentially, you can peek out. You can peek around the corner, shoot, go back behind the corner, and just keep on peeking and coming back and back, back and forth. All right, get the health. Good shots by Zen. Oh, of course, he can see you because of the orb. That's, yeah, good. Yeah, whatever. Not a terrible issue. So I believe your accuracy is pretty good for right now. You seem to be hitting the shots you need to hit. For Grandmaster, I think you're there accuracy-wise. Mechanic-wise, it looks like you're okay. Yeah. Not doing terrible. Don't get caught up in these cocky duels. Especially one where you guys are doing like 30 damage to each other. It's like the third or fourth time you missed your stun grenade. Flashbang, I should say. Get out. Is that one step forward going to get you killed? Oh, that's 2-3 steps forward. It's going to get you killed. Oh my god. So stop with the fucking hesitation. This is the most annoying thing about other, like, just players in general. Is that they're like, oh, should I don't know if I should. Should I? Let me try to get one shot off and do something. No! Stop trying to get greedy. Stop it. If you're going to retreat, get the fuck out. Like, retreat. Do one thing and do it well. Stop trying to retreat and kill everyone and attack and do all this at the same time, because then it's not retreating. Is it a user's feedback? Yep, this is feedback. So the enemy has all of that space. That is all there is. Get behind your shield. You have to start giving up space a little bit earlier than you want to. Then again, you are Hanzo. And Hanzo can do some ridiculous shit. Okay. Good shot. And I could care less about the ult. Your Zarya used her ult. You're going to get it back before she does. Breaking the shield. Cool, cool, cool. Just watch your right flank. Just take your pot shots on the edge. Don't worry about the mercy. Okay. And I guarantee your Zarya wasn't even close to getting ult, so that's fine. You may have been able to hold it for a second longer. Oh, that looked like a headshot for a second. Okay. And I like you holding that flank even though... Oh, that was a good shot. Even though... essentially, you kind of want to do this with Junkrat as well. So let's just draw that point. There's like pillars here, a wall here, a pillar here, something like that. That's basically the point. And the thing that sucks is the enemy wants to move this way while you're over here, which makes these shots, I'm not going to say they make it hard, but obviously as a projectile or any type of attacking weapon, you only have one chance to hit them, right? And when it's like right there, right where that dot's at. Now, if you were this way and you took a shot down this line, look at all that time. They can get here, here, here. They get hit the whole shebang. But this is a lot greedier. It's not greedier. They're going to be aware of it. This is a very sneaky one, but the shot is harder. If you can hit your shots, this one's definitely valuable. Also, if your team is there and your team is putting pressure this way, then this becomes a shit ton more viable. Because then they will get jammed up in here. So, I'm not saying you did anything wrong or right, just those are like the ideas behind when you're attacking in a cross section like that. Don't. Oh. I guess if she just gives up in life. Oh, time. Gotcha. Yeah, understanding how cross sections work, that's like one of the fundamentals of Overwatch. Overall, I think you're doing pretty good. Just remember when you're retreating, retreat. When you're not retreating, attack. That's what you need to see.
And Tracer. Fucked up my plan. Ah, he was getting healed. Oh no, he got the health.
So, this is actually one of those times I don't know if you wanted to use Storm Arrow. Just because you're going to turn that corner, you want to get a kill and then get out. You don't want to sit there for a second or two shooting 6 arrows. Okay, this is fine positioning.
How did that hit him?
Good shots.
All of them red.
Good? Yeah, no, this is all good. This is all good. Stay for longer because someone was flanking. What? What? Okay.
Oh, God damn it.
Okay, okay. He knows where you're at. Yeah. Remember, if you know this, high noon. If it sees you for a second, it's going to keep you on their screen. Even though the counter won't go down for them to do damage to you, they're still going to see where you're at.
I should have killed that. Zaya was my bad. I thought she would back up for a team, but she didn't.
So, I don't think anyone was. The Tracer was taking their attention. Eh. Eh. I think you played that one all right. Yeah, I don't think there was too much more you could have done there. Okay. Careful when they push up that far and they immediately go back. It makes me feel like it's what do they call it in football? A screenplay. Alright. Probably want to... It was an ambitious flashbang, but I like it.
Don't shadow me.
Oh, yeah, of course.
When I used my
Oh!
I was like, fuck.
Oh, what a good...
I knew he had
That was
it.
beautiful.
He just got it too, I think. That was my bad. I should have rolled away.
So I think you're doing fine, man. Overall, like, there's nothing much to correct on this one. Maybe on the first defense, but we talked about it. The Hanzo's still to your right. I heard an arrow. So you got out of it. I think your McCree's pretty damn good. Okay, good. You still recognize the Hanzo's back here.
How do I do anything about him? I can't get up there so easily.
You have to go up there and try to clear him out.
I can't get up there.
You can get up there, it just takes a long ass time. But it's worth it because your team's not going to be able to attack safely until he's gone.
We needed to take care of that Hanzo beforehand.
So the Hanzo's finally dead. But, I mean, you said what you needed to say to yourself. You're like, oh man, the Hanzo's up there, but I can't get to him. No, there's a staircase right there. You didn't know how to get up there on foot? Oh, what is this shit? Sorry, you're playing some terrible music. Oh, you didn't know how to get there except for on foot, like the foot? Okay, well that makes sense. Yeah, there is a path up there. You needed to take it. That's all. That one wasn't too bad. The only thing I can tell you about this one is that it is technically a flank, but it's a really quick one. With everyone putting the pressure on this corner, and everyone, these are basically the two defense lines. You can just walk through there. You can usually get a pick very, very easily, especially with McCree. Good shots. Good shots, man. Is that shitty song still going on? I'm not getting DRMC'd. You didn't reveal your position yet? Well, that's the problem with, what's not the problem? It's just... Well, it's a problem with payloads, right? Your team was pushing up. I know you don't want to reveal your position. But when your team pushes up and they get pushed back, your position means nothing because the enemy has changed where they're at. Remember, your positioning only matters when it's in relation to the enemy. If it wasn't for the enemy's position, your positioning wouldn't matter at all. So, it sounds simple. In fact, it sounds so obvious and dumb to say. But it's really important. The only reason your positioning matters is because of the enemy. I don't know, it's some crappy song. And I'm pretty sure it's a popular one, so DRMC is definitely a possibility. Good aim, bad positioning. I mean, at first it was not good, but when you grappled over across the river and you didn't get absorbed into the Zarya ult, and they had to come out behind cover to get damage on the Zarya ult, then your positioning is great. So, oh, that's a McCree. It's not over yet. Oh, it's some foreign song. Oh, okay. Okay, I don't think I'll get DRM'd on that one. And you lost. Yeah, that last push was a little bit disheartening, actually. Right in overtime. Yeah. Alright, so I mean, it wasn't bad overall. I mean, it wasn't bad at all. Your accuracy is pretty good on hit scans. For 37,800. What's that? Don't beep at me. Yeah. Oh, control 1. Yeah, control 1, that's what I'm doing. What the hell? Okay. So, sorry about that. Just had a fight with my annotation program. I think your accuracy is fine. You're doing good. You're doing good there. There's not much more to say on that. You're hitting your shots. You're doing good, both McCree and Widow. Hanzo, you're kind of hitting your shots. Positioning is always the place where we can improve the most. And so I'll just write it down. Positioning is based on the enemy. It's almost ridiculous to say this. Like, it's almost ridiculous to speak about it in this sort of way. Where I'm like, well, yeah, you were out of position because their positioning was like this. And you're like, well, yeah, no shit. But it actually really, really matters because just like we saw in a payload, as your team pushes forward, the positioning is changing. So positioning is dynamic. So you may have good positioning. You're like, oh, I want to hold this position and keep it hidden so I can get a pick. But the truth is that position was only sticking around for 2 seconds. So you needed to get something done in those 2 seconds. So your positioning essentially had an expiration time, which was almost instant. But yeah, everything is completely based on the enemy. If they just start in the open, you wouldn't need good positions. They're all out in the open. But people don't like getting shot in the head, so they'll hide from it, stand around corners and whatnot. Positioning on McCree. Remember, McCree is burst, which means low visibility. I'll just say low visibility. Remember, Soldier has a large clip. He has 25 shots. They only do 19 damage, so he needs to be visible for all the times he's shooting. McCree, not that way. He has 6 shots. You're around the corner for a split second. You get a headshot. Maybe you get another shot. 0.5 seconds is his delay. So within 1 second, you can do 280 damage and just take someone out. Very easily, very quickly. But this means he has low visibility whenever he steps around the corner. He doesn't have to be visible the entire time. Use that to your advantage, meaning like hugging a wall, sticking around choke points, stuff like that. You don't have to stick in the open. McCree's not that type of guy. And with Flashbang, he actually, I don't want to say he excels at close range, but if someone wants to play corner games with you, just Flashbang the corner, roll, and kill him. It's pretty simple. What else did we talk about? Your positioning. Did McCree on that one? Oh, yes. Well, this is technically logistics. When retreating, retreat. In fact, hold on. I'm busting out. Uh-oh. That was my headset. My headset is unplugged. So, let's see if I can find it really quick. In The Art of War. Hold on. We'll go to the camera scene. Well, hold on. I don't want to lose my annotation, so I can't actually switch to camera scene. Because when he says it, you'll see it, and you're like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." Of course, he means that, and no one really gets it until something like this exact moment. Let me look at it because it actually is a very stepped over passage in Sun Tzu. Is it in the trade? That is chapter 9. It's gonna probably take me too long. Either way, basically what he says, it's like when defending, defend like a mountain, and when moving, be as like fucking, I don't know, as swift as the river. Some Pocahontas level shit. But all it's saying is when you're retreating, retreat as fast as possible. Like, retreat. You're there to retreat. Don't do anything else. Stop trying to do two things at once because then you just lose both. Same thing with the defending things. Like, don't try to defend and flank. Like, do one thing and be good at it. Yeah, it's gonna take me too long to look for it. Okay, yeah, we'll have to skip that. I can't remember where it's at in the book, but you guys get it. Can I paint with all the colors of the wind? No, because the wind has no colors. It's not now. Hold on. Now I'm pissed. Now we're gonna lose where we were at. Hold on. Camera scene. We're gonna find this fucking quote. God damn it. Fuck it. Fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. Alright. You get the picture. I don't gotta get. I'm gonna have to find because it's gonna keep me up at night. That's something stupid that keeps me up at night. Yeah, I know. I think it is Mulan or fucking Pocahontas. I forget the exact specifics behind the quote, but essentially, just do it. When you're doing one thing, just do it well. All right, bam, made it. Paraphrased it. Information wise, any logistics? I think you're missing a good deal of flashbangs. Remember, you can throw it at their feet. Just remember, and I talked to good Doomfists. Essentially, Doomfists, what they want to do is they want to hit you and go straight up. A McCree that hits the feet with flashbangs will actually get killed by Doomfist a lot. So, aim at feet except for Doomfist, and then you have to play it by ear, because they're really quick and tricky. But yeah, that's kind of like an accuracy thing, where it's just like, you missed it. You know, you try not to. I think that was it. Do you have any questions? If there's one thing I want you to work on, what can you work on? Your accuracy is good. Your positioning, it's not bad. I mean, you're doing the traditional DPS thing, which isn't a bad thing, right? You're just kind of staying behind the shield. You're doing your things. You didn't really flank much, but that's fine. You just that's okay. That just means you're doing damage more times than not, because flanking takes time, and you won't do damage during the time you're flanking. So that's all fine. Yeah, you got any questions? Traditional. What did you say again about when I flanked the Hanzo in the last point defense? Oh, so like this is one of like a fundamental concept of Overwatch. And it has to do with flanking. Essentially, let's try to make this as generic as possible to make it apply to everything. When the enemy is pushing through a choke point like this, but there's also a path for you to flank. Let's say someone goes out of their way and decides to flank. Now, the enemy was originally coming from this position. So, we'll just mark all this off. Let's say this is just another terrain thing that's blocking you. While the enemy is going from right to left, they're only going to be visible to get shot at very, very small instances. Like right there, right there. And this is good for hit scan, but for projectile it can be tough. Actually, the same rule applies for hit scan technically. But people don't like talking about hit scan this way. Actually, this is one thing they hate about because essentially when a hit scan player, you always want to think a hit scan player, when he shoots something, he meant to shoot it. Like, oh, I did that on purpose. I shot that. I did that. Don't worry about it. Hit scan can't spam. I did that headshot on purpose. And you're like, no. Hit scan can follow the same rules as projectiles. When, see how you're attacking like this? So here's the deal. Since they're going left to right, you have 1 moment to shoot them. And that's right here. Now, if you were over here and you went to shoot them, well, first of all, you would only have a point to hit one of them, but then it could hit everyone behind him, right? And this is kind of one of the things that's technically spam for hit scan. If there's someone behind him and you just miss your shot, if you're shooting at this front guy, make a small circle. If you're shooting at this front guy and you miss him and you just shoot the second guy, technically that's hit scan spam. Right? Hit scan people don't like you saying this, though. They actually get quite upset. They're like, no, I'm skilled. I meant to do everything on purpose. Projectile, especially with Junkrat, because it's slow projectiles, meaning it operates in the time this space that they're in. It is there for like more than a fraction of a second, unlike hit scan. That's why projectiles attacking down the lane is good. So the thing is the enemy is looking this way, so they're going to be surprised by your flank. You have a higher chance you'll have a better chance to surprise the enemy and get a good flank off, but the shots are going to be harder because they're moving perpendicular with you. Right? If they move parallel with you, meaning if they're moving up down, then they technically would have 0 chance to defend against it. Right? If they're moving this way, if they're moving on this axis, they're not going to dodge your shot because your shot can hit the entire way. Right? That's exactly why shooting down the choke point is effective. Because if you shoot down the choke point, they're all moving left, right in this instance. Right? So if they're moving, with your shots, it's going to be a lot easier than if they're moving against them. That's all I was saying about this. And this is kind of all Crossfire in Overwatch, in shooters, and everything in general. Flanking is good. You'll get a good shot off, but the shot will be a little bit tougher. Also, you're by yourself, and it's a little bit unprotected. And Rub will, with move swift as the wind and closely formed as the wood, attack like a fire and be still as the mountain. You meant that. Bam! You got it, Rib Will. That's what I meant to say. That's what Sun Tzu. And that's basically when treating, fucking move. Move swift, get out. Be like that. What are the similarities between choke points and corners? Choke points and corners, essentially they're limited. So the big difference with choke points and corners, I'll draw a corner here and just pop a choke point here. So I'll just say the difference with choke point with corners is that the enemy, essentially you have this angle game to play. And this angle game is the entire, if you want to get at Overwatch and you get good at corners, every map is fucking based on corners. So this is a really good thing to get good at. And it reminds me of hockey when you're cutting off angles. So if you have someone here, and if they move this way, they're going to try to get an angle like this. So people here are safe. And as they take the outside path, as all DPSers do, they will slowly start, getting a better and better angle, better angle. And then finally when they pass this mark, bam, they're fully committed to this. Right? Then they're vulnerable to the entire choke point or the entire corner. So the big part about corners is that, you can swing around the far side, and you're essentially taking a very slow angled, very slow methodical, and safe approach to the corner. Now you can just be like, motherfucker, I'm taking the corner, and you can just turn around the corner and you're susceptible to everything, right? If I could only like get 1, 2, and 3, right? Got a dot here, a dot there, and a dot here, right? So if you just jump around the corner, all 3 dots can shoot you. But if you slowly go this way, like, look, no dot can shoot you. And then you can finally get to this angle, and only the 3 dot can shoot you. So now you can focus specifically on dot 3. And as you get closer and closer, okay, now only 2 and 3 can get you. But if you killed 3, then you can focus on 2, and 1 can't shoot you. This is the same way Widow's... This is how I snipe in Quake. And this is how I essentially snipe in... it's just how I play, actually, in general. In Overwatch, it's just kind of first-person shooter stuff. Is with cover, if you have a bunch of enemies, don't stand out in the open and be like, I'm going to shoot all you sons of bitches. I'll stay here, and I'll just fight this one guy. And if he runs away or if he dies, then I'll come around this corner, and then I'll fight 2 guys. And then I'll slowly go like this, and I'll fight 3 guys. Or if I'm a Widow, and I'm chilling, like, right here, if there's, like, a tree right here, what I'll do is I will just go over here, and I'll sit here. We do yellow, I'll sit here, and I'll just have a one-on-one fight with this guy, because this guy can't see me, this guy can't see me, and neither can this guy. Essentially, I always called it blinding yourself. You basically want to blind yourself towards as many enemies as possible so you can focus on one single target and finish them off. From there, you can go to the next one. Right? It's you just kind of go one by one, and then you start killing them. You want to divide the enemy up. Treat the enemy as one, but what is he? Blah, 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 blah. What did I say at the beginning? There's an okay thing. Treat the many as one, and the one as many. Yeah. So at this point, you're dissecting them one by one. But you're still treating them as one because you're worried about all of them. You're just defending yourself against all of these. At the same time, you're defending yourself, or you're attacking just one, so you're treating them like as one. That's great. That's what you do. So this blinding thing where you just you shove half the enemy team off to a side so you don't have to deal with them, and you just focus on one guy and kill him. That's how you snipe. That's how you take corners. That's how you... Choke points, it's kind of a little bit harder because... I mean, you kind of have to go through it. It depends how long the choke point is, but usually choke points are significantly longer. At least a couple of them are. If you're talking about like a covered entryway, like Numbani Point 3, that's a long covered choke. I'm trying to think of any off the top of my head, but stuff like that. Choke points just forces all the enemies closed in, and then they can usually burst out. So it's a lot smaller. Corners, you can get... The farther angle you get, the greedier it is. Like, you need to be safe. Because if these guys aren't there, and you go all the way over here, and then all of a sudden their enemy goes this way, all of a sudden, like, an enemy jumps out right here, you have no escape. Right? Your retreating point is so far away. You sometimes... What is this question? Sometimes you don't need to move if you kill the first one. The second saw you. The second mostly will try to fight you and just keep the corner away from the show up. Yeah, that's another way to do it. Last question. How do you think I should make use of burst McCree? You talked about a little low visibility, you said. Yeah. So with McCree, you just need to pop around the corner, right? You have a low... This is a good, cool thing about, like, if you know game design, and you're like, oh, it's game design. I know how to use this as it's designed to. Like, there's just this fundamental idea that no one can get over. And the fact is this. McCree has burst damage. And he has 6 shots. Soldier, 25. What does that mean? I only have to be visible for 6 of these shots. Soldier has to be visible for 25 of those shots to get his entire clip off. Meaning you can just pop around the corner, get 2 shots off, hide. 2 shots, hide. While Soldier has to come out, shoot for 2 to 3, like 3 to 4 seconds, and then hide. So he's... this is actually why Soldier's worse against Widow, I would say, than McCree. Is because he has to stay out in the open to fight her. McCree doesn't. He can just take the corner, shoot, hide, take the shot again after another one. Yeah, so it's just... That's the big thing about McCree and his burst damage. Also, McCree's good at corner games, not because of burst damage as well, but because of his flashbang. If someone tries to play a corner game with you, flashbang around the corner, forward roll, shoot him. That's how I approach McCree, really. Any other questions? Rascal, how am I doing? I'm doing good. You saw the real Art of War because of me? Well, good. Art of War is good stuff. Don't expect it to understand right away. Read through it 2 or 3 times. Probably more like 10. This is unrelating, but I've been one-tricking Genji again lately to get back to GM. Do you have any tips on how he should be played in the current meta? It's tough. I have no tips, just because, like, Zarya Rhine. I'm not saying Genji's good against them, but Genji's just, it's a neutral. Yeah, Zarya can shoot through his deflect, I get you, but the bigger issue is the DPS duel of Hanzo Widow, and that is you have to cross a lot of distance. If you can't cross that distance and get a kill, you're going to die. So if the Widow's too far away and you can't cross the distance, then don't even attempt to deal with the Widow, deal with something else. Same thing with the Hanzo. The best you can do is try to flank them, get on top of them, and then start hurting them. Essentially, don't know that you're visible. Don't let them know you're crossing that distance. Some maps it's impossible to do, and that's why Genji isn't the best against Widow trade or against Hanzo trade. Hanzo Widow. He's good, but like if you got to cross all of Junkertown to get to her, she's gonna shoot you. Just that's what the odds are. All right. Thanks again. Yep, no problem, man. Ugh.